see you. Thanks for being with us today at the RTL Beach. I think this topic is a super interesting and exciting topic. We're going to be diving into the world of sport and streaming and how the TV landscape is changing massively when it comes to this very topic. The interchange of TV and digital converging and how this impacts on sports rights. So with us today, we have a fantastic panel of experts in the field. So maybe as a starting point, I'd love to do a very quick introduction on each of you, where you're from, and your role in the company.
Maria Luisa Shaloyan, nice to meet you to all, and thank you also for this invite. I'm coming from Italy, Milano, and I am international commercial director in Rai Pubblicità.
Hello everybody, good morning, thanks for being here. So I'm Giovanni Aquilanti, I work for Sportel, and I do sales and sponsorship. I'm based in Switzerland. Yeah.
Hello everyone, and thanks RTL for this invitation. I'm Fabrice Mollier from Canal+. I am France. I'm head of advertising.
Yeah, hello. Jörg Richards, my name. I'm from Bonn, Germany, Deutsche Telekom, and I have two roles actually. On the B2C side, responsible for sales and marketing of Magenta TV in Germany, and on the other hand side for the advertising business.
Morning, Bérangère, Samsung TV Plus, across Europe, based in London.
Wonderful, thank you. So I wanted to start off with a question to the whole group, and I'm going to let any of you jump in on this topic, because I think this is a bit of a provocative statement, shall we say, to begin with. So, is live sport best consumed on broadcast TV or on streaming? What do you think? Go ahead.
We think that it's not so streaming versus broadcast or broadcast versus streaming. I think that the important thing is the attention and the emotion that an event sports, live sports could generate to the audience. This is the important things. And for consumer, for viewers, it's not important the technology, so it's not really streaming versus broadcaster, but really the attention that generates any live events. This is important.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. What do you think? Also, that's.
I will add that I agree with you, but I mean, we started years ago on the Canal Plus application, the fact that you can go, while you're watching live an event, we call it the expert mode, and you can choose your camera, you can add some data and so on, and it enriches the relationship that the viewer has with the competition. So I would say there is that gathering of live event on one side, but some others, more gaming generation, they love to add some other experience. So both are
attention,
great.
more attention also, yeah.
Yeah, I would also chime in. It's not so much about broadcasting or streaming. Actually, when we talk about live sports, it's a live experience, right? No matter what the quality behind is. The thing is, on the streaming side, it just gives you, because of the technology, a lot more opportunities to have a advanced user experience. On the other hand side, customers are used to have a high quality of the signal, I mean the video and the audio from the broadcasting of the last decades, and this one you have to match or even to over-fulfill, and that's actually the difference between streaming and broadcasting in my view.
For me, it's all about the screen. Screen size, share moment together. Streaming or live is pretty much the same.
Yeah, I think from the consumer perspective, we're at the point now where the streaming services and the access to them are, so professionally produced and at the level where the consumer doesn't really understand the difference. They just go onto their TV screen and they say, "Okay, I want to access this great sports content." Okay, and Giovanni, I'd like to bring you in here because you're representing Sportel, and I think what we see, and we've discussed this in the preparation, there is you're running a conference in Sportel in Monaco, and you bring together buyers and sellers of TV rights and sports rights. You've been doing this for a while, so you must have seen some developments in the space in terms of the people who come along to your conference. So tell us a little bit more about how you see the landscape evolving.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks for the question. And if you allow me, I'll do a bit of context setting for the people who are not aware or familiar with Sportel. So it's a 3 days gathering of the global sports media and technology community. It happens in Monaco, not far from here, in October, and attracts 2,000 people with around 80 exhibiting companies. Now, historically, so Sportel, the first event was in 1990, and it was sports and television. So that was the place where, you know, sports organizations were coming and negotiate TV rights with broadcasters. Okay, it then evolves into sports and media, and now it's sports, media, and technology. So a slightly different scope. Now, for us as well, I think live events or VOD is something that it's an and, not an or. I think a couple of days ago, Gloria from Smart Clips, she talked about the marriage between the two, that I think it's an interesting metaphor because marriage is not always fun, right? So there might be some things that...
You heard it here first. Yep.
So different viewing behaviors, different demographics, different objectives. So the two things are already coexisting. You will still have rooms for what they call mass simultaneity of viewing, like the Olympics or the World Cup in some countries, right? It's not that mass simultaneity.
I said that.
No, I don't know. I mean, for us Italian, it's a little bit of a touchy topic. And that is coexisting with the YouTube deal for the World Cup that gives you the kind of VOD side of the equation. Okay, so I think it's two approaches that are coexisting. And then on our hand, I mean, we work fundamentally on commercial models, on sports rights deals. There is a huge impact because these premium rights, you have the competition between streaming platforms and traditional broadcasters. And then the last thing, the data piece. So the centrality of data, not only of having the data, but what are you going to be doing with the data, right?
Yeah.
So these two things we're going to be discussing, I guess.
Yes.
And then given that we are here in the Olympics of marketing, right, we also have something to share about what we're going to be doing at Sportel for brands, okay?
Very cool. Yeah, we come back to that a bit later because I think I would like to bring in Bérangère from Samsung because I think... as you mentioned, it was probably an arena and Sportel where you had many broadcasters and operators, but now more and more the global platforms, the CTV companies are getting into the game, and I think it's been interesting to see the rise and the development of Samsung TV Plus's sports offering. So could you tell us a bit more about that? And I know we've got a little show reel we can show in a second, but
nice.
Yeah.
I think today for sport fans, it's very difficult to find the right place or a single place to watch sport. The goal when we started to have sport and live sport on the platform is to democratize sport for the fan, but also people that just want to tap into sports that are not accessible on free services or linear. If you take, golf, some leagues in football, tennis, you do it in most countries in Europe. You need a paid subscription. So for us, it was making sport accessible for free directly from the big screen where Samsung TV Plus is available to all our audiences, and also to democratize sports that are not always as popular. So that was the first angle. The other one was very much nurturing very hardcore fans, I would call them. So we developed a strategy around, especially football, where we build channel around clubs. So we're close to Milan. Inter Milan is one of the big ones, Barcelona, and we have a very big English club coming to the service very soon.
Oh, can you reveal?
I am not allowed to.
Oh, okay.
But from the north of England.
I hope it's Newcastle United. That's my club in England, but I guess it's not. Should we have a quick look at the show reel? Really nice, and I think we touched on it in the introduction. What's interesting about the streaming services is the breadth and depth of the types of content that you can offer around the main event, right? So, and we discussed this also, Jörg, in our preparation. Magenta TV with your World Cup offering, which is obviously very topical right now. This has given you some possibilities to really open some new content types and new personalities to the screen, which is exciting for Magenta.
Yeah, definitely. So as an aggregation platform that we are, so we have always the ambition to aggregate all the relevant content that is out there for our customers. As we said in the opening statements, it's not about the technology behind, but it's about user experience. So we have all the partners on the platform, be it linear, be it VOD, and they also carry a lot of sports content for sure. But we as Deutsche Telekom, we decided to step into that field many years ago because we know that sports is a really emotional product, and we use it not only for the TV platform but also to have effects on the main brand, on the T. The World Cup now, as the hero content, is the fourth tournament that we do on the platform, I think we also have a nice learning curve in terms of making the product better and better from tournament to tournament. And this year, with this huge tournament of more than 100 matches, we decided to bring in also some innovation to grab more potential in the market on the B2C side, but also give the advertisers the chance to have innovative formats in that product. And so, yes, for sure, we have all the matches on the platform, but we have a big library besides that, I would say, with a lot of really newly produced content which is relevant for that sports community. We see nice numbers also in viewing on that one. For sure, main is the matches, and that is good so, and that should also be like that one. By all these content types, we see that also the advertisers like that really much to also attract not only the hardcore sports fans, but also the guys that watch, for example, in additional content. We have a documentary with two really prominent sports moderators, father and daughter. Daughter is currently on the program, is Laura von Torra, and her father, Jörg von Torra, is a very famous sports moderator since decades, and we have a nice documentary. And this one also attracts, and we see that, different customer groups on the whole platform. I mean, we have more than 5 million, we have 5.5 up to 6 million subscribers on the platform, and I would not say that all those are really hardcore sports fans, and not all of those really watch the World Cup. Lots do that, and lots come in newly, but also this additional content opens up for different customer groups, and this is nice to see because sports is an integral part of the platform, I would say, and that really works out.
We've talked a lot about the advantages.
My colleagues. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've talked a lot about some of the advantages, but I would like to delve a bit more into some of the challenges and the problems. So obviously now, with a rise of more and more streaming services, there is a myriad of services to watch your favorite sports on. So has it become too complex for the consumer now, given the fragmentation of content rights and the numbers of different services, the numbers of subscriptions that we need to all have access to in order to watch our favorite sports? So does anybody have a point of view on that, the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, fragmentation is a topic, actually, in the whole world of sports, as we know. You also were stating that one. And as I said, the goal is to have a nice experience for the customers, and they should not bother, so where can I watch which kind of match? I mean, in the end, we try as an aggregator to build products around that. We call that tariffs. So we have tariffs for sports fans, and we bundle different sports offerings in that, especially from the two big sports players in Germany, which is Sky and DAZN. Sky actually now part of your family, and that really works out because subscribers, on the one hand side, we always try to give them an attractive offering so that they can also save some money, actually, instead of buying it separately outside. And on the other hand side, we try to bundle it also in terms of the experience. We build worlds in the platform where sports is the topic. And then we can put our own sports in there, but also some other sports stuff that we have. For example, there are sports fast channels, or even the broadcasters like your colleagues in Germany and also others have sports in their offering. So we build those worlds around the topics to give the customer an ease of use, actually, and that's it, a bother-free usage of sports. That's the goal.
Yeah, I think it's so important that streaming services and platforms find ways to surface content and make it easy for the consumer, because it is a bit of a maze for the consumers, especially if they're coming from different countries and trying to consume the services. But I think you do a really good job, and especially events like the World Cup are a perfect opportunity to showcase the power of that. So I'd love to look a bit more into the innovation parts of streaming, and I think Canal Plus is really doing a lot with innovation in the viewing experience. So could you tell us a little bit more about that, Fabrice?
So yes, to give you an example on Champions League that we bought for a long time. For now we have secure rights until 2032. I remember well. We sometimes have to broadcast 17 matches on the same time. So that way streaming helps, broadcast, because you cannot obviously broadcast 17 matches at the same time. So we can provide that streaming experience that was impossible before having platforms. And it provided us another idea, is to boost on the way we can give access to highlights, for instance, on a very instant way. Our main competitor is piracy. In a sports business, that's obvious. And we realized that when you show many matches at the same time, there is somebody on YouTube that always takes your rights and put a little bit of editing, and then there are a lot of people that they could not watch at the same time the Real Madrid match at the same time that the PSG match or the Bayern Munich match, so they look for highlights. So we did a deal with an Israeli company actually that do with highlights with AI. They do it just after the whistle at the end of the match. It's already available. It's posted on the Canal Plus application with advertising, which is a double great. And we do millions of views. It's at the same time a fantastic experience for brands, but it's also a big comfort for subscribers. It's a service we provide. This is the kind of example we have. I also mentioned before the expert mode, which is also innovation and technology. And you only can do that. It's not only about technology, as you were mentioning before. It's also when you need time to do that. You need to invest, and so you need to secure rights for a long time. The same for talents, the same for technology you provide.
Can I add just one thing? It's really quickly.
Go ahead.
As you were saying,
I'm not getting the applause.
No, okay, sorry.
I should bring teams.
When you were talking about the highlights, AI-based, we also do that kind of stuff, but and then we push it also outside the platform. So we have a nice use case pushing it in the digital out of home. So wherever you are, at a train station, airport, wherever in the cities, and there's a goal in one match, we push it to those screens, and this is a really nice experience outside the platforms. Yeah, I just want to add that for the advertisers.
So I noticed that our CEO, RTL AdAlliance, just arrived. So I really now need to change the topic to advertising in sports. Otherwise, what are we doing here? And I'd like to bring in Marie-Louise, actually, because you are working very much at RAI on the monetization of sports. And tell us a bit more about how you see the free-to-air and the ad-funded version versus subscriptions. And then maybe after that, we can show a little bit of the RAI offering on the screen.
Thank you for the question, and I think that when I saw your question, I thought that this is the right question, and also about how is important for us what you said, because for us it's not in terms of subscription, but in terms of rights, no? And you know that every year for every live events we have to pitch for the rights of the sports event as a public broadcaster in Italy, no? And to answer you, in these last years, the increase also the inflation about the rights But in this case, RAI, in the last 10 years, I think we did really a good work, a good job in terms of live events. RAI invest in the past and continues to invest in these important events. We see only this year for the Olympics and now the World Cup, with and without Italy, because we pitched for before to know that Italy was not inside. So we pitched before with and without Italy. And now it's a very good challenge. But I think that the results is that we saw now also yesterday, until yesterday, we catch now the half of the population in Italy. So very good results.
50% reach.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that means what I said before, that the live events is very important for the attention, for the emotion that generates, and that means also that is important for the advertiser, that it's an economic circle, because we brought attention and emotion to the people, and we need the advertising is really important because it's an economic value.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for those brands to really build emotional connections with consumers in those live sports moments.
Yeah. And another important thing is for RAI that when we buy the rights for all events, now for the World Cup, we buy for the TV, but we buy in the same time also for our platform, digital platform on demand, RAI Play, that we don't need subscription, it's free, and it's important also for the cross-media fruition and to give all the people the opportunity to see everywhere in any time. So it's important.
Should we take a quick look at the offering from RAI?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's good that you set 28 qualifications. So
Yes,
first
thank you.
qualified.
Thank you. We will speak after.
We
About
keep
it.
our fingers
Can I have a
crossed.
question?
We will speak about You will come here.
No.
Yes, we will speak after.
Can I have a short question?
Of course.
Sorry. For the World Cup, so what
Yes.
advertisers love, at least on our platform, is the hydration breaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is that in Italy? Can I ask that question? Yeah.
Yeah,
just
sure.
did?
It
You just
also,
did?
I
No
think
problem.
I can answer now also your question
ahead.
about that. Yeah?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You mean in the cooling break, okay?
The cooling
In the name for our break is in-game, okay? It's the second one most viewed, the second one. The first one is the top. Before the break,
golden
before
break.
yes, okay, is the second one. The perception, I think that you read also some news about that because it was international news, not only in Italian. The perception for the people is not so good because it's during the cooling break they want to see people that, the player that drink and so as. But in terms of audience, so in our perception, it's very good. The second one, yeah.
Same with us, actually.
Yes.
I think this whole hydration break innovation, as a consumer, I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one because I feel like it's somehow a backdoor into turning soccer into a game of 4 quarters instead of 2 halves.
But only one thing. So this kind of innovation for the advertiser in Italy now is the first one that the advertiser chooses. So it's very important. It was not so difficult to sell, okay? Because it's a very premium position and very innovative.
Yeah.
We will see for the next events.
Yeah. Let's see if it stays. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been including that within our packages too, and we've seen a large interest from advertisers and a really great performance on the hydration break format. It is quite new and innovative. Let's see if it stays. Let's see if it continues. But just to continue on the advertising point, I'd like to bring in Bérangère again, because I'd love to hear a bit more from the streaming perspective, how you see the advertising strategy on Samsung TV Plus with regards to data targeting versus contextual targeting that we see, the options that Samsung TV Plus offers, just to help the audience understand a little bit more about how that adds value in the advertising ecosystem.
Yeah, so before even TV Plus, we start from the home screen, and that's very much where the sport viewing journey starts. So the goal is really making content available and discoverable to audiences, and that's also where our technology, SCR, kick in. So the moment you switch on your screen, we can, have a view of how you interact with content, what's your viewing pattern. So on top of giving our advertiser and brand really detailed contextual information around what sports they're watching or what sport they would be advertising against, what match, what player, what league, we can really go as detailed as linear go today. We can layer on top of that SCR audience, which means that you can reach sport fan, Formula One fan, Lewis Hamilton fan outside of the pure context of Formula One, which is very difficult to reach from an advertising standpoint. That's super powerful. So we can go beyond purely the contextual and the match time of the World Cup, which is sometimes quite difficult for non-sponsor to be next to.
It's so interesting to see how there are so many different use cases for advertising. It can be more than just brand building, but it can also be tying into some additional advertising opportunities that are related to the data part. So somebody goes into the app and they are there to watch the World Cup, but they are not yet on a World Cup app. And I think that gives a really powerful opportunity for brands. So we're coming up a bit on time. I would love to just, as a wrap-up, hear a little bit more about some market differences. So I would love to, we talked a bit about the hydration break, and I think that was an interesting example. In France, across the Canal Plus, you see across multiple geographies, of course, how sports is being sold, the advertising around sports is being sold. What are some of the differences that you see in your role?
In France, historically, Canal Plus is a very iconic brand, where advertising was very rare because of first of regulation and because also the culture was to be that the subscribers were paying and that advertising was not. So we introduced more advertising. What is very important in our business is that sport is very premium. Everybody says that, but also we have to provide a premium experience with the advertising. So maybe the cooling breaks are against that, but so when we started to have mid breaks in France, which introduced last year only, we decided to have only a 2.5 minute break in the match just before, because we want to provide subscribers with the experience of sport experts talking, not only putting advertising in the middle, but also to provide brands with a super experience. We also do that on the app. We have very low ad load, and we tell our brands that quality is the low quantity, I would say. So in other territories, we depend on the local culture. In Poland, where Canal Plus is very important, we go up to 6 minutes, but 6, not 12. And in South Africa, where we're also very strong, we put more advertising also. We have a partnership with HBO Max. We represent HBO Max in France. We just renewed it, so we are celebrating these days with the Warner Brothers teams. And we also came to them saying that the ad load for being an American company was very important depending on the territories. And we implemented, for instance, dynamic ad insertion on many of the iconic sports they have, like tennis, like Olympics and so on. We tested that in France. It's really working, but we take very big care of the ad load. I think that's the best takeaway I would say.
It's so interesting to see those differences and how each market has its own norms and you have to work around them. So if you're a global company, you need to be able to adapt and be flexible, have that local approach. we're coming up on time, and I think it's so impressive and exciting to see all this very topical discussion of the year of sports in 2026. Of course, we have the World Cup, we had the Olympics with Rai, we have a fantastic roster of sports events. I would like to bring it back to an event that's coming up. We mentioned it during the discussion. We talked about Sportel and how it's bringing together the buyers and sellers of sports rights, distributors. But this year, in the year of sport of 2026, there is a new announcement, a new launch that you're pushing, which really brings together the advertising and marketing aspects of sports and streaming. So tell us a little bit more, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yes, so we want to bring brands into our community. Why? Because we think that brands, advertisers are playing a pivotal role in the transition from advertising buying to partnerships. Because sponsorship in the revenue mix of our sports organizations is getting increasingly important. And then because these companies that are behind the brands have competencies in innovation, in creativity, in ability to scale, that would be very useful for the sports industry. Okay, so but what's in it for the brands, right? So this is going to be a privileged access to the #1 global community of sports media and technology. You're going to have dedicated one-to-one meaningful discussions with our participants, leagues, clubs, technology partners, and then some sorts of exclusivity, right? Because we want to design something that is for brands that are complementary and not competing, so that there is some sort of first-moving advantage. So we're going to do for the first time, we're going to launch in October what we call the CMO brand program. That is an exclusive invitation-only track that we developed in collaboration with Qualcomm Technologies, a founding member of the XR Sports Alliance. Okay, so we're going to start as of today sharing details on lineup and on program. I think the only thing I can share, I'm allowed to share, is that our dear host, Stéphane Corouble, is going to be with us moderating a panel, our most important panel, in Monday, the 19th of October. Okay, and we have our team here. They made a long way from Monaco to be here. Okay, so if you have questions and you want to have a discussion with them, we are available. If you want to know more, if you want to manifest interest, we are here. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Stephen.
I think everyone is looking for an invite to a fantastic conference, so they speak to you after the event. Super. Okay, we're coming up on time now, so I just wanted to say thank you to our fantastic guests and experts on this topic of streaming and sports, and please give everyone a round of applause for a fantastic discussion.